All right, let's jump right in today. We're doing a deep dive into Genesis 17, a story that really, just packed with so much stuff.
Yeah.
About Abraham and the covenant of circumcision.
Right.
A lot of drama and a lot of divine encounters.
Big promises, too.
Huge promises. Totally life-altering promises.
It's foundational, too. The lineage we're going to talk about is going to shape history.
Totally. And it all starts with this guy, Abram, 99 years old.
Wow.
Just going about his business, and then suddenly God appears.
Not just like, hey, what's up kind of appearance, though.
Right.
This is God saying, I am God Almighty, walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Sets the stage for this covenant.
Yeah.
It's a binding agreement between God and Abram.
Almost feels like a challenge, too, right?
Yeah.
When God says that, walk before me faithfully and be blameless.
Totally.
What do you think Abram was thinking?
Well, knowing that he falls face down right after,
Right.
and say probably some awe, maybe some fear, probably a bit bewildered too,
Yeah.
Here's this guy almost 100 years old,
Yeah.
and God Almighty shows up and says that.
Yeah.
Pretty weighty stuff.
It makes you think about the power dynamics, too, right?
Totally.
But then on top of that, God makes this incredible promise
Yeah.
to Abram
Yeah.
that he's going to be the father of many nations.
Right.
So many that his name is changed to Abraham.
Right. Father of a multitude.
Right. It's like this total identity shift.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Reflecting just how huge this promise is. Imagine that,
Totally.
You're just living your life and you're told
Yeah.
your family's going to birth nations.
Right.
Do you even believe that?
Well, he does laugh later on when Sarah's promised a son.
That's right, he does. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of human disbelief mixed in there.
Totally.
Yeah.
But before we get to Sarah, let's talk about the actual covenant itself.
Okay.
God lays out the terms. And it's that every single male descendant of Abraham, for all generations, has to be circumcised.
So this act,
Yeah.
performed on the 8th day of a boy's life,
Yeah.
becomes the physical sign of the covenant.
Wow.
It's a visible mark
Okay.
of belonging to this lineage,
Okay.
linking everyone back to Abraham in this moment.
And it's not even just the people born into the family.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like everyone,
Everyone.
even if they're like servants bought from foreigners.
Yeah. Emphasizes how all-encompassing this covenant is.
Totally. It's about creating this whole identity.
Yeah.
This community.
A community set apart,
Yeah.
bound to God by this agreement.
And then there are pretty serious consequences if they don't follow the covenant.
Yeah, you get cut off from everyone.
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
Really drives home the point that obedience and belonging are super important.
Yeah. And then we have another name change.
Oh, that's right.
Sarai, Abraham's wife,
Yeah.
become Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like these name changes.
They always mean more than you think at first.
Totally.
This one especially.
Yeah.
It means that Sarah has a new role, a
Well,
new destiny.
okay.
God promises her that even though she's 90 years old,
90.
yeah, she's going to have a son named Isaac.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in Abraham's shoes here.
Okay.
Like a son at 100 years old
Right.
and your wife giving birth at 90?
It's like, how?
It seems impossible.
Totally.
And what does he do?
Yeah.
He laughs.
He laughs and doubts.
Who can blame him?
I know, right?
It's such a human reaction
It is.
when you're faced with something that seems impossible.
Yeah.
But this is where faith comes in.
Mhm.
Because despite his doubts, he chooses to trust God's promise.
Yeah, it shows how complex it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
This whole story, divine
wow.
will and human experience all mixed together.
Mhm.
But what about Ishmael?
Yeah.
Abraham's first son, right?
Right.
Born to Hagar, who was Sarah's maidservant.
Yeah.
He's a key figure in this whole story. Definitely.
It seems natural that Abraham would be, like, concerned about Ishmael's fate
Total.
at this new covenant happening. And it's interesting how he actually advocates for Ishmael.
Yeah.
He pleads with God, like,
Right.
can Ishmael get in on this too?
You know,
Can he
right.
get these blessings?
Yeah.
It's like real fatherly love.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, and what's fascinating is God doesn't just dismiss Ishmael.
Yeah.
He reassures Abraham
Yeah.
and promises that Ishmael will be blessed, will be
Yeah.
super fruitful,
Yeah.
and he'll father 12 rulers
Okay.
to form a great nation.
So we have these two sons.
Yeah.
Both promise these incredible destinies.
Yeah.
Both going to father nations.
Mm-hmm.
So like multiple covenants.
That's a good point.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an important distinction.
Okay.
So the everlasting covenant
Okay.
The one tied to the promise of all these descendants.
Yeah.
And a nation blessed by God.
Right.
Specifically with Isaac.
Okay.
And his lineage.
Okay.
But Ishmael and his descendants, they're also given a significant promise.
Right.
It's a future full of blessings and progeny.
Okay.
So it's not an either-or.
So it's not like one cancels the other out.
Exactly.
Okay.
God's blessings can flow in multiple directions, through different lineages, each one fulfilling a unique purpose.
Okay.
This is really important for understanding, the whole Bible.
That makes more sense. It's a lot more complex than I initially thought.
Totally.
So we have these promises and this covenant.
Right.
Does Abraham just kind of
kick back and wait?
Yeah, kick back and wait for it to happen?
No, not at all.
Okay.
He takes action right away.
Okay.
He shows he's really committed to this covenant.
And don't forget, he's 99 years old.
That's right.
When he does this. 99 years old, and he circumcises himself.
Yeah.
And Ishmael, who's 13 at this point.
Wow, 13?
And every other male in his household.
That's a pretty bold statement.
That's a big statement of faith.
Right.
Yeah, it's more than a personal commitment.
Right.
It's public.
Yeah.
It's visible.
Yeah.
He's showing everyone that he accepts this covenant.
Right.
And that he trusts God's promise.
Right.
Even though it seems really unlikely.
Can you imagine the conversations?
Oh, totally.
This must have sparked.
It must have sent shockwaves through the whole community.
Yeah.
And it sets a precedent for future generations.
Right.
Circumcision becomes like this ritual for Abraham's descendants. It's like a physical reminder of their connection to God and this covenant.
And people still do it today.
Yeah, millions around the world.
We talked about the divine encounter.
Mm-hmm.
The terms of the covenant, the name changes,
the
promises to Isaac and Ishmael.
And Ishmael.
And then Abraham's obedience right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how this ancient text focused on this specific ritual. This speaks to all these bigger themes that are still relevant today.
It's about way more than just a physical act.
Yeah.
We're getting into questions of identity, belonging, and how covenants shape religious traditions, and even whole cultures.
It's crazy. How can something you do with your body have such a deep meaning?
Makes you think.
Yeah, and it makes you think about how people thousands of years ago were dealing with these same questions.
Totally.
Of faith and obedience.
Yeah, we're seeing the human side.
Right.
Woven into this divine narrative.
Totally. And it's crazy to think about how this covenant has had these ripple effects for thousands of years.
Right.
Circumcision has been practiced by the Jews, and then some branches of Christianity and Islam adopted it too.
Yeah, it's become like this tangible link to that original covenant passed down for generations.
It really makes you think about how the physical and the spiritual are connected.
Totally. How does something you do to your body end up having such a deep meaning?
Yeah.
And why has this ritual lasted for so long?
I think it shows how powerful rituals can be in making us feel like we're part of something bigger.
Right.
It connects us to a shared history. This communal identity,
totally.
Like a lineage that goes all the way back to this moment with Abraham.
And we see that same desire to connect with something bigger.
Totally.
Even today, even with people who aren't religious, they look for rituals, practices that give them meaning.
Right, meaning and belonging.
Yeah, totally.
Whether it's holidays or going to games or even just having dinner with family.
Too.
It gives us this sense of...
Rituals help us understand the world.
Yeah.
And where we fit in.
And with Abraham, we also see this human side of faith.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's this guy, right? He's given these promises that seem impossible.
Right.
He's wrestling with doubt.
He's laughing.
He laughs.
Yeah.
But then he chooses to trust God.
He does.
It's powerful because it shows that faith
is not always easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's about trusting.
Yeah.
Even when you're not sure.
And being okay with not knowing everything.
I wonder if the doubt and the laughing are actually really important parts of this story.
I think so.
Because it makes Abraham seem more human.
Yeah.
And his obedience even more powerful.
Right. It's not like he was blindly following orders.
Yeah.
He was really thinking about what was being asked of him.
Yeah.
It shows that even the biggest acts of faith come from this mix of emotions and struggles.
It's not about being totally certain.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to trust even when you don't know everything.
Exactly.
So, what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to take away?
I think it's how multifaceted the story is. It's about a ritual, yeah. But it's also about time, faith, obedience, and how divine will and human experience mix together.
It's amazing that these themes are still so relevant to us today.
Totally.
No matter what you believe.
No matter your background.
It really leaves you with a lot to think about.
It really does.
Whether you're looking at it from a religious perspective, or a historical perspective, or even just as a cool story about faith and human nature.
Yeah.
This ancient text just makes you think and talk.
It sure does. Thanks for coming along on this journey with us.
We encourage you to keep exploring this text. Read it, think about it, talk about it. Until next time, happy exploring.